What is up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and this is my 31 days of horror movie reviews. And I just got done watching kind of a random film, but because I watched the Terrifier movies, was it last year or the year before? Well, when I watched those movies, I became somewhat fascinated by the Art the Clown character. And when I did my research on him and the director that wrote and directed those movies, I saw that he directed a film before the Terrifier films called All Hallows Eve. And so I decided to watch this movie, All Hallows Eve. This is a 2013 film written, directed, and edited by Damien Leone, who is the same guy, as I said, that directed the Terrifier films. The main reason why I wanted to watch this movie is because Art the Clown, who is the main antagonist of the Terrifier films, he is, in fact, kind of the Terrifier. He originated from this movie. This movie features Art the Clown, so it's kind of like a prequel, or at least it's a movie that establishes him before he ends up getting his own films, if that makes any sense. So the plot actually follows a babysitter named Sarah. She's watching these two kids, brother and sister, on Halloween night. And because they just got done trick-or-treating, they have all their candy. Before bed, one of the boys finds that there was a videotape placed in his bag. And he, of course, wants to watch it. He convinces the babysitter to let them watch it. They proceed to watch this tape, which is filled with some of the grossest and most disturbing horror-type anthology stories you could think of. And for whatever reason, she lets them watch at least the first story before she finally says, no mas, no more. And then, out of curiosity, the babysitter starts to watch the rest of the tape on her own. And we're pretty much watching the tapes through her. And it's anthologies, right? It's just a bunch of horror stories that are contained in this videotape. Now, what I thought of All Hallows Eve was I liked the premise. I liked the idea. I actually really enjoyed the aspect of, hey, here's this videotape. I mean, it's similar to what the VHS movies do, I guess. And when I say similar, it's pretty much the same goddamn thing. But you have these characters in the movie watching this tape, and through them watching the tape, we get to watch these horror stories on the tape. So it works as a premise. It works as just a function to get this movie going. It also is interesting that some of these short stories on this tape are actually real short stories that the director made a few years beforehand, like probably to help get his name out there and get him started and have the right people find him. Like, he just re-put those short stories into this film. Very smart. It's something that I probably would do if I was in the same position or had the chance to do. So again, all of this, I'm sort of giving him kudos because ultimately I didn't care for the movie. I mean, it's like, I'm trying to get the positives out of the way, and I'm trying to say that there are good things about this movie in a sense. But for the most part, I thought this movie pretty underwhelming for a lot of reasons. First things first, I'm not going to crap on the acting. The acting is going to be what it's going to be. You have a clearly small budget first film type directing, and you're not going to have the greatest acting. That's not really the issue. The issue is that these two kids are little shits, little assholes. And I know that kids can be little shits and little assholes. Believe me, I know. It can be tough as hell to deal with kids at this age. But it sort of sucks to constantly see these horror movies where they constantly have the babysitter getting shit on by the kids and treated like shit. I'm not saying if I was that young, I wouldn't shit on my babysitter either. Because it's just a situation where you're like, fuck them, I don't know them, I don't care what you say, I don't care what you're supposed to be here for. But it's like, can we at least, for once, get one horror movie where the kids aren't an asshole to the babysitter? Can we get one movie where it's like, oh, they have a decent relationship or a decent dynamic? Or these kids aren't pieces of shit? Would have been nice to get that. Of course, though, the main reason why I think the boy, especially, is an asshole, is a little shit, is that he's the one who pushes her, who pushes the babysitter to watch this tape. And it's funny because the babysitter says, okay, we will put this on, but the second it gets too bad, I'm turning it off. The second it gets too much, it's off. And you think, well, that makes sense. And then you watch the first story with them, and it's about this girl getting kidnapped in the subway by Art the Clown, and then she ends up in the tunnels, and she gets taken by what looks to be the devil, and the devil looks like he's gonna rape her. And then you see that another girl that was kidnapped down there, she's pregnant, and they cut the baby out of her stomach. And I'm like, what the fuck? How is this babysitter not turn this fucking movie off for these fucking 10, 11, 12-year-old kids, however they're old they are? This is crazy. That she's wincing and she's covering her eyes, and it's almost like she finally says, oh shit, I should turn this off. So she turns it off, and then she finally gets them to go to bed, even though now they're scared as fuck, and so they can't really sleep, right? And while she's downstairs by herself, she decides, well, I'm bored, I'm curious, I might as well finish watching this. And the next short film is this woman who's by herself, and like she gets attacked, almost like a home invasion type thing, but she gets attacked by aliens or whatever. It's like people wearing rubbery masks, but they're not supposed to be people wearing masks. They just look. It was lame. I get it. It was one of his short films. I'm not saying it was supposed to look better or be better, but I probably wouldn't have put this in the movie given the quality and the level of it. It was one of the tamer and lamer ones. If this was the first movie that the kids were watching, I would have been like, oh yeah, sure, fine. You kids can watch this. This isn't scary at all. The next one, though, features Art the Clown more prominently, where he's in his full element. This almost feels, beat for beat, this portion of the movie feels like it's the first Terrifier movie. Just as far as this girl being by herself, she gets lost, she's trying to get someplace, and she runs into Art the Clown at this gas station, and he kills the dude at the gas station and then goes after her. And it's the same stuff that you kind of know to expect from Art the Clown, although at this point it would have been the first time people were seeing this character. And Art the Clown is such a interesting character because there's not a whole lot to him. He doesn't speak. I don't want him to speak though, because there's no way that whatever he would say would probably be any interesting. It was the best move to make him mute. And you don't really understand what he is or how he's able to like teleport or get to where he needs to get or get inside of cars or just sort of do what he does, right? But the real thing about him is that he's goofy. He acts jokey and like a clown, or I guess he's a mime. But he does some fucked up stuff. Like he carves people up, he cuts limbs off, he performs surgeries where he deforms people. And it's sick. It's twisted. It's fucked up. And I guess that's the appeal, right? It's to see how far he goes. To see how or what kind of fucked up stuff he decides to do to a person. And in a short form like this, I guess it's fine. There was a moment when the babysitter, she gets a phone call from her friend. Oh shit, I'm being chased by this guy in a clown costume. And she was just watching that. And then the tape turns back on, and Art the Clown is like coming towards the screen, even though it's her watching the movie and he's almost looking at her through the TV and he's almost trying to come through the TV screen to get to her. Like, that moment was creepy. And then the very, very end of the movie was fucked up. And it's like, it's supposed to be shocking. It's supposed to be, I think, torture porn-ish is what they're going for. It's at the point where I didn't care for it, though. That's kind of what made me sort of lose points on the film. It just felt like it was being edgy and shocking just to do it. That's not the type of horror that I like. That's not the type of horror that I can get behind. I personally feel like you need a little bit more character, a little bit more story, a little bit more going on other than just, let's see what fucked up stuff we can do. Let's see us kill some kids. Like, I'm good with all that bullshit. Alright? So ultimately, yeah, I didn't care for All Hallows Eve. I'm not going to say I hated it. I'm not going to say it's the worst movie on my 31 Days of Horror, but I probably could have gone without seeing it and not felt like I missed anything, especially with this character. Let me know in the comments below if you too have seen All Hallows Eve. What do you think of it? Do you think I'm just a little bitch for feeling the way I feel about it? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later.
Swimming in beers, I've been through it all, let me trickle a tear. In case you didn't know, I was living sarcastic. A motherfucking monster, something Jurassic. Had to wrap the whole entire bed in plastic. Stuffing in skits when she fucking with raptors. Killing and a drilling and I'm sipping on the 4-0. Listen by a whole entire motherfucking torso. Oh, what a rush, sniffing some more blow. Let the bitch bleed and I'm making a porno. I'ma keep it going a few times before I pass out. Wake up in the morning, realize I'm blacked out.